So here I got the 1 year chart with daily candles for KTOV. I want to go over some of the catalysts behind the price movements, as well as the fundamentals and some of my support levels I'm looking at and price targets I'm watching for heading into this week. So you see a clear drop off this. It had around a 70 cent support level. Once it dropped, it went into free fall mode all the way down to the 20 cents level. It formed an uptrend, then formed a steeper uptrend, ultimately falling back to this uptrend, and then spiked high and is now almost regaining this steep uptrend right here. We can see trying to, at least. But it's worth noting the 200 SMA is still at 62 cents. So that'd be my load if I'm trying to hold this long term. I'd be waiting for a panic to 62%. But short term, because there's a lot of momentum behind this play, let's go over all the ones in between there. So the first one I see here, I'll put them on here. It's 92%. 92 cents, right? It'd been support here, acted as resistance on this wick, as well as these candles and this candle here. We'll see if 92% can hold, and it's on this uptrend. If that can't hold, I'll be looking for 87. So there you can see the resistance here, as well as here and here. We'll see if I'll be looking for an 87% bounce. If that can't hold, I'll get rid of that just so we can see it better. 83%. At 80%, see that? 87%, and then I'll get rid of that so we can see the next one better. 78%. If 83 can't hold, I'll be looking for the 78% bounce. If that breaks, there's a strong support at 70%. They could potentially see it acted as resistance here, but can now become support again? That'll be the big question to me. And if that can't hold, 62. Not only is it the 200 SMA, you could see that it was resistance here, as well as partially here. So the 70% and the 62% are probably the strongest levels, but before that, I'll be looking for a bounce off the 92 cents level, the 87 cents level, the 83, the 78, and the 70 in the meantime. And I'll be looking, say I get into that 87, I'll be looking for the 92. If I get into 83, I'll be looking for the 87 first. I put my stop loss there, and then I'll try to ride to the next one above it, right? So price targets, my first price target, we can see its strong resistance level is 87. So it's around here, here, and here, as well as the wick here. So 97 all the way to $1 is going to be tough, right? So 97 to $1 is going to be the tough point. If it can break over $1 again, that'll be bullish. But from there, it's going to be a little heavy again at 105. From recent action, which we have to go to see, and here. Someone's been waiting to get out all the way for almost a year, probably. So also we're noting, look at the recent volume. This is insane. 331 million shares traded one day, 221 one day, 42 one day, 150 one day. Pretty crazy. So the RSI is high and the MACD is curling down. We're at a level where it's previously the tops. It's worth noting. So I don't think this is going to stay up much longer. I think this will probably head back down and test these 70 cents, 62% levels in the next couple weeks, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some bounces in the meantime. So let's go on a closer time frame to get a better feel. Here's 5-minute candles, and here's the 14-day. I got all of them drawn out as well. So the 92 cents level, I'm looking for it to hold. If that doesn't, the 87, You can see exactly why I put them here. The 86, the 83-ish, right? The 78, the 70, the 62, and the 57, right? And then the price targets being the 97 all the way to about $1. I have them separate, but that's gonna be just heavy all the way in between. It's so close. 105, 110, 118, 123, and 130, right? And you guys gotta always remember, this was a 47-cent stock, in just in not that long ago. So shorts are gonna be all over this. So let's go over some of the recent price action, the catalysts behind them. Let's go back to the daily and go to the 100-day. So I got the uptrend and the drop. So for the best visual, I got Seeking Alpha. So they extended in February 24th. They extended a study, which wasn't good. That kind of had already broken under the 70% support, and then from there, as you can see, 24th of February is right here. So it dropped all the way to 20 cents. So what helped them is they come out here, they launched one of their products on March 12th. But then the minute it starts building a little uptrend, right, they actually go ahead and do an offering. So they go ahead and they do an offering, and you see they're down 13%. But then they go ahead, they close it on May 11th, which is interesting because this is where we're going to get our idea of how many shares they have. Because here their SEC filings, they got a 13G on May 15th. And we can see who's 5 million shares is 5%. So we know they got 100 million shares on May 15th around, nearly, right? So they did an offering right before then. $20 million shares, right, at 32 cents. So let's say from they get that fully diluted, that's around 120 million shares, right? We could figure. But then it's also worth noting they go ahead and they do another offering more recently, but it was for 35 million shares. So that's 55 million shares on top of that 100 million shares at that time of that 13G. So that's 155 million shares outstanding. That's what I got in my head. The most recent stuff I could find. So, and it's also worth noting now there's a bunch of shares that were sold at 90 cents at that level. So that adds to that 90% level. It's very crucial to hold because underneath it, it could be a free fall. So they go ahead, but on the positive note, though, they do come out with some news, and they come out with a collaboration with Bristol Myers, a huge company, right? We all know them, in a lung cancer study. The study is expected to begin in the beginning of Q4, with the data expected in H1 2021. So this is where it's the problem is are you going to hold this for this long at these prices? At 155 million shares and a 93-cent share price, is the company worth 150 million shares? 150 million nearly market cap. Well, let's go back and we look at the last. It's a foreign company, so we gotta look at the 20F. Look at the revenue in 2018 for the whole year was 1 million, as well as 2019, which is suspicious. I don't know how it's exactly the same, but $1 million profit, and they lost 7.8 million in 2018, and they lost 7.1 million. Right, so they're losing $7 million a year with pretty much no revenue. But on the positive note, here we are recently, they're coming out, they're saying, hey, we got $60 million in cash to conduct the studies. The cash is likely to support us until 2024, which is positive, right? Flexibility in the balance sheet allows us to collaborate with third parties. They're able to leave $100 million in milestone in their product for consensus. And they're seeing they expect to see about 28 million to 36 million from 2020 through 2022. Come on. And so you gotta figure that even they make $28 million, we even give them the positive to know they get the 36 million from this company, right? $36 million in revenue on this company. They got 155 million shares. So maybe this is it's an interesting play. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Had this news not came in with the positive, they understand that cash is all from pretty much bending over the existing shareholders with all this dilution. But if you buy now on one of these pullbacks, I'm thinking that 62% level is an interesting play with that big partnership. All this cash they're saying till 2024. And then their product just starting to become profitable for them here. But you got to think here, they're saying that's $36 million from 2020 through 2020. So you got to divide it in half, 18 million a year. So that makes them 60 cents, 62, 70 cents makes more sense to me at this current time. They also got an FDA approval in May for another thing. So it's an interesting biotech play. A lot of cash on hand, previous dilution, a lot of speculation, lots of volume, and lots of volatility. So I'll be looking for those panic support level loads